Overall balance update. This battle adjustment was done with the aim of shifting the game's balance by looking at every character and making adjustments. While we believe the game's balance has reached a reasonable state thanks to repeated adjustment, important statement by the way, I want to throw that one out there. The relative strength of each character has not shifted significantly in recent updates. Due to this, we decided to implement changes specifically to shake things up. It's funny because I really agree with this statement, chat. This game gets more hate than it deserves. I'm starting to sound like the SF6 Defense Force. EWC had a Lily versus Ryu in Grand Final. Whose stream is this wearing iDom skin? Yeah, I've said this thing so many times. I don't think the game's imbalanced. I think the game is boring. Like I said, I'm sick of getting drive rushed at and throw loop. You know, it's been like 4 years at this point, but it's not imbalanced. I don't think this is an entirely new game.
Hey YouTube, glad you've been enjoying all the videos I upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So be sure to hit that subscribe button as well as like and share the video.
Let's go to Manon. Let's go to the Manon changes. Stand medium kick. Expanded the attack hurt box during the first active frame and advantage on hit from -2 to 0. This change is very useless. I don't understand the point of this change at all. Maybe it made it easier to hit confirm, possibly, but that's probably it. Crouch medium kick, +3 to +4. Now, I could actually show you guys this one. This change doesn't really make any sense to me. There is a plausible way to use this, but I don't really understand this change at all. Like on this level, I'm never really this close to do crouch medium kick. And as you guys see, I really can't even get jab anyway. I would have to do crouch jab here. And like I said, I'm never really this close when I hit crouch medium kick anyway. And not even always combo. Like, I have to be literally inside Manon to get this to combo. The reason why I think this change could be good though, is because if you do this, you could do that. You could get a combo now, instead of having to go from just doing this. Now, this is good if you do it on block, and I don't think they could OSDP that. Let me check. Oh, you can. So that's not even a true block streak like this would be. So, yeah, the only reason I feel like this is actually good is if you do, you know, button into drive rush and they're gonna hold up because it's skate up command grab. So now you can get a low. But that's kind of it. It's a good buff in that sense, but every other aspect of it, I don't really see the point of ever doing this because you're never going to hit a low forward like that. Like, you're never going to be close enough to hit low forward anything. And even during the 1v1 me, after I do command grab and go for Oki, say I do drive rush back medium kick, I'm not close enough to get back heavy punch ever. So this goes into, I don't really understand what that update was for. Yeah, it's easier to hit confirm level 2. I have level 2. But, like, this wasn't really an issue, I feel like. It's easier for sure. Which is kind of the whole sentiment of a lot of these changes. I feel like they made a lot of things in this game easier, which, you know, if you're listening to me, I think this game's already pretty easy. So they're making stuff in this game even easier, which is very questionable. Now this one's interesting. So if you get a punish counter or a counter hit on down forward heavy kick, you get combos now, which is a change, but this will probably only help in the Dhalsim matchup. So now if you get this, Manon has like a little tumbling effect. And actually you get really good Oki because you can like double dash here and it's a hard knockdown. But you're not really punishing anything with this. I feel like this will only really be good versus Dhalsim if Dhalsim hits like stand heavy. Yeah, you'll probably get combos from that. So against Dhalsim, I could see it being really good. Get my super. If that actually worked. Yo, where's my super at? First try. Why did that work? Bro, this only works if the person side switches? That's mad funny. Okay, I'm lying, chat. Yo, chat, I didn't trust the changes. I was just theory crafting. I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe I'm doing that. Yeah, so that buff is there. Yeah, you can combo off it. It's a lot easier in the corner. If you're in the corner, you actually could just do like this for like very good damage and a side switch. But I feel like you're never really going to get punish counter bicycle kick while you're cornered like this. How does this happen? Maybe on neutral jump? Not really, because they wouldn't get punish counter, no? Yeah, I only got counter. I didn't even get a punish counter. That's how I got stuff. This was very negative on block. You wouldn't just throw it out random. And then you would punish like that, maybe. But even then, it's like, would you really need to do this? I feel like you could do like just this. I mean, I guess that's more meter efficient. Yeah, the easy side switch. I mean, it's there. I don't think that changes terrible, but it's very wonky. I feel like you wouldn't really use that move again. Yeah, I don't think they want the fence to be that good in this game. But like I said, I think they think the game is balanced, which they clearly said in the patch notes. They think the game is fairly balanced. And I've said it too. I think the game is balanced, Chad. I 100% think this game is balanced. All the people who are like complaining about, oh, I hate Sagat, I hate Mai, you know, I think they're getting picked because they're the easy characters, obviously. Like we watched Hibiki beat Hinao, one of the best Sagats in the world. How much did Capcom pay you to say that? I'm not saying it because I'm on Capcom's payroll. I think the game sucks because it's repetitive. I think it's repetitive and it gets boring quickly. There's a difference. That's what I'm complaining about. The game gets repetitive very fast. I don't think it's imbalanced. That's a whole different problem. Hell, I think Marvel 3 is imbalanced, but that's one of the most fun fighting games ever. I feel like you're not seeing the correlation, chat. Yeah, if you nerf the system mechanics, I think the game would be less balanced, which is why I think they don't want to nerf the system mechanics. Increase combo count upper limit. Oh, is this the overhead change? This move got a lot of buffs and it's so weird. So I realized this never worked before, but now you could just do a meaty overhead here and be +5. And being +5 is good because you could do stuff like this and get more corner carry. And this is good because this is off of comboable overhead. I wonder how this is on block. I wonder if Luke could punish it. Oh, okay, Luke can still punish it. But you still get a combo. And if you get a meaty overhead enough, yeah, if you get a meaty overhead, you can still just get a metal as well. So actually, I think this change is pretty good. Meaty overhead into like, you know, 25% is pretty strong in my opinion. I'm sure there's plenty of ways you could set up a meaty overhead too. Like even, I mean, it's gonna be hard for me to just like manually time it, but you know, I'm sure some tech mouse is gonna come up with a frame kill to get, you know, easy meaty overheads like that. Oh wait, this is +4 on hit now? I didn't realize this is +4 on hit. They didn't say that. Wait, if this is +4, does this work now? Maybe if they're crouching. This move forces crouching, so I don't really think. Maybe if you get like a bigger character, maybe let me try Zangief for Blanca. Yeah, maybe it works on bigger character. Oh yeah, it does work on Blanca. Yeah, maybe if the character's bigger. Oh, that's cool. That's actually a lot of damage on Blanca. Okay, this is cool. That's a lot of damage. Okay, so that's a cool change. The overhead move version of the move now ground bounces. This is what I would normally do when I hit an anti-air like this and get, you know, 2200 damage. Now you could do this if you want to spend 2 bars. And get 2600 damage, which it's pretty good. Oh, you can do medium. I'll keep doing that. Yeah, so you can even get more damage. Can I do heavy here? Okay, so you do medium. Oh, it doesn't always work. I guess it depends on the player. Yeah, it is a lot of meter. But I think this change is cool. You get more damage for anti-airing. Get more damage in a metal. It is very expensive though. Yeah, you could drive rush, but drive rush would get you less damage. Cause what? This does what? 2680. If I do drive rush back heavy. Yeah, 2500. I mean, I save a bar, but I'm losing out on 200 damage. Wouldn't double wheel kick do more damage? No, because if you hit him in the air like that, if you hit it in the ground, yeah. Yeah, if you do it on the ground, then yeah, but not in the air. That's not, like I said, that's not terrible. Yeah, so that's one of the changes. I like that change. I think that change is actually pretty good. I think that's a cool Manon change to actually give her. It does cost a lot of drive, so I get how people, you know, are maybe a bit skeptical, don't want to go into burnout, but I actually like that change. I think that change is actually pretty cool. Next change. Projectile invincibility on the normal version extended by 2 frames will no longer trade on projectiles. So this one is very interesting because I don't have really that many showcases, but sometimes I would clash with a fireball and I would get traded into a full combo. So that's not gonna happen anymore. So that's good. This one's hard to explain, but it did happen in like very rare occasions, but it did used to happen sometimes. EX spin feint, it's 27 frames now, which I guess I mean I don't know how good that is, to be honest. Why would I ever empty feint? I'm gonna be 0. I was -6 on that one. Yeah, why would I empty feint? Yeah, kind of a nothing burger change. That one was fun. So this is the change that I think is insanely scrubby. I don't like this change at all. I feel like this makes Manon scrubby, and it kind of leans into what SF6 is about. Now you could do this on block and not really care because it's -3. So this is basically just Hashigeki at this point, which is very silly. Now you could DI this if you know, if you're feeling ballsy. This being -3 is actually, to me, this is the biggest change. This is like the biggest Manon stomp going up change. However, though, I do think this change is insanely scrubby. It's kind of just going into the SF6 kind of, hey, just do something. Like, do it, bro. And the funniest part about this change, and why I think this buff is kind of a bit toxic as well, is, so if I do this, Ryu's not even in throw range. Ryu can't really do anything. Ryu, like I said, I'm at a basically kind of like a throw, a range where Ryu can't throw or threaten with like anything. So Ryu would have to mash jab here. So if you change it to light punch, like, you know, a normal human being would do after hitting a -3 boo, you could always just parry. Like that. Good change. I actually think that's Manon's best buff, but I do think it goes back into, hey, let's just give these characters something to, you know, hurl out, because why not? You can also do stuff like this. Smash level 3. Flash level 2, I mean. And it's not like he's in throw range, so you gotta hit a button. So yeah, I don't like the change. I think that change is actually kind of scrubby. It's corny, but at least she has something to frame shop with safely. Like I said, it's the name of the game. It's just how the game works. You can't really fix this because it's just how the game works. If Ryu does that, and I'm mashing after the 3rd jab, I get full combo, because why not? But, you know, if you're playing against Manon and you're mashing DI here, I'm gonna get smoked. Yeah, if Ryu mashes DI there, I'm just gonna screw.
A few moments later.
Oh, what the hell? Oh, I didn't even know that worked. Like I said, it's funny because they kind of just turned Manon into, I mean, it's slightly like Kimberly. And like I said that was a really bad Kimberly chain. So, you know, I'm gonna stand on the same foot and be like, this is also kind of just like a very scrubby Manon change. Those are the Manon changes. I think she is definitely better. I went into the update with low expectations. My expectation was at an all-time low. The patch that came out with Alex was really bad. I still think that was one of the worst patches they've done for this game. I am actually decently surprised with this patch. I'm not only saying that because Manon got bumped. Yeah, they made Viper easier to play. I guess we can go over the Viper notes as well. What does the Viper stand medium kick being +5 do? I feel like you're never even close enough to get light kick. Maybe if you do drive rush medium kick, but why would you do that? Yeah, it's +9. Oh, wait, no. That works now. Yeah, the best change with Viper is they made every jump cancel mad easy, which is crazy. I could never do that combo consistently, and I got it on my first try. It's actually so funny. They made Viper mad easy though. They made Viper much easier to play. Yeah, driver stand medium kick, you get crouch heavy punch. I mean, but who's doing driver stand medium? And even if you like do it from here, you're not gonna get crouch heavy punch there. You're already really far. Yeah, I think it's crazy. They kind of was like, yeah, Viper was too hard. So, you know, let's make it easy. This change is funny. This change is actually kind of hilarious. The good thing about this change is if Ryu throws a fireball, you know, never does in this game. If Ryu throws a fireball, yeah, you can do that. So that's a good change. That's actually pretty cool. But my favorite is if Ryu does... Yeah, you could do that. Oh, wow, chat. Viper got degenerate drive rush special like scissor kick. That was the first thing I thought of. 55% for trying to check my drive rush. I mean, this change is mad funny, but like, this is like incredibly toxic too. Yeah, I think a lot of the changes were toxic. I mean, they don't want to bring the power level of the game down. I think they like where the power level of the game is. I don't think they want to bring it down at all. Updated technique behavior so the move is not performed if the punch button is held when the command is input. Somebody was hitting punch when they were trying to do focus. Oh, you can't get focus force if I'm holding punch? Bro, who was doing that in the first place? Let go of the punch button. Viper to me is more or less the same. They just made Viper easier. I definitely feel like she's more or less the same character. She doesn't really have any new combos to play with. I know people are just gonna call, oh, here goes iDom hating, iDom, no whimsy. There goes iDom, no joy in his heart, no anything. iDom the doomer, iDom the hater. But the patch didn't really do anything. So 6 defense force in full swing. I mean, it's always the same thing. Whenever a bad patch comes out, there's always everyone on Twitter saying, oh, this patch didn't do anything. This patch is the same game. Capcom, please. Does Capcom even play their own game, etc., etc. Defense Force comes out. This game's super popular in Japan. No game can hold a candle to it. It's, you know, Capcom does nothing, and then the same Godfighter 6 people are just there to defend it. I saw people saying my players just need to switch their route. Bro, if you do that. It's like more or less the same damage. She's still gonna get stalked, she's still gonna throw fan. How much less damage? So I think before that did 3,300, but now the combo does 3,220. I think that's the change. Yeah, I think level 1 not being invincible is the biggest nerf. But to be honest, I think they should do that for every character. Yeah, that's why I'm always like skeptical about like balance changes whenever Capcom does anything. Cause I get the whole let's nerf you know, Mai's overpicked, Mai's very annoying. I get that, but all the Mai players are just gonna jump ship to Terry anyway, or Sagat, or whoever the next character is gonna be. If every character is just easy Shoto, they could obviously all just switch. It's not that hard. If Mai really does fall off, I expect every Mai player to just play like Terry or Ryu or Sagat. I think maybe the biggest nerf of the patch is Ed's flicker. Yeah, this sucks. This is actually a huge nerf. This to me is the biggest nerf of the update. I don't even know what it does here. Parry is also bad. Damn. Yeah, I actually think that's kind of dumb. I feel like they nerfed the one character who's not pure SF6 slot, which is like, bro, what are we doing? I'm telling you, I think a lot of people don't like the non-SF60 character. Actually, my friend put a tweet in the Discord and I thought it was funny. These are the type of tweets we get. Bring back Shoto. Hell yeah, brother. Bring back Shoto. Yeah, to be honest, I don't think this change is that bad because obviously you could just stall for Peter anyway. It's just if you guess wrong here, it kind of sucks because you spent 2 bars. But what I think is a bad change. They nerfed the dream combo. It does way less damage. My dream is not dream. Oh my god, my dreams are a nightmare. I don't know. You know, I hate to do like day 1 tier lists or anything, but for me, I think at least from the outside looking in and seeing how Twitter has been reacting, the winner is really Ryu for not changing. Luke's good. Chun-Li, I saw got some buffs. Jamie, I don't know. Guile looks the same for me. That double super thing looks very whatever. Kimberly buff. Jury more or less looks the same. I've seen a lot of the Dhalsim change. I don't know the practicality of them. Honda looks like he got buffed. Ken looks more or less the same. Blanca looks the same. DJ might be good. Manon obviously is good. Marissa. JP actually did get nerfed. Cammy still looks more or less the same. I put her in. Lily looks the same. Keith looks more or less the same. Richie looks more or less the same. Aki got buffed. Edson McDonald's now. Akuma looks the same. Bison got buffed. Terry looks more or less the same. I got nerfed. I don't know what Elena got. I actually haven't seen anyone said Elena. Quality of life for Elena, I'll put her the same. Sagat, is more or less the same. Viper's the same. So Alex is the winner, and Ingrid looks the same. So this is probably where I've gotten from now. Elena's the big winner. Elena's good. I'll move Elena up then. So yeah, this to me is probably my hot take about who got changed this update. You got 3 characters with maybe meaningful nerf, but even JP's only nerf was that Amnesia thing, right? I think Amnesia got nerfed and that's about it. Will Mai and Bison still be top 2? Blanca's still gonna be very good.